here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I say again, we are here. And I am so excited, man. Listen. Calm down. But listen to me. The playoffs are finally set. Yes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the NBA playoffs are finally set. The stage has been set. We are ready to get underway. Before I get into that, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ricky, yours truly, the one and only, and I am happy to be with you here on P Stars Radio. The time is now 10:36 a.m. And you know what it is. You know what it is. You know how it is. You know how I am coming. You know how I'm coming. But first, before I start off with the show, as per usual, I would like to always start off with asking each and every single one of the viewers and people that are watching as of now as we speak, because I am going live on Facebook and YouTube. I would like to ask each and every single one of you that are watching right now, how are you doing so far, right? How's your day been, right? How's your Easter going so far? We're getting closer and closer to Easter Sunday. But how you guys doing so far? Talk to me. How you guys been? How's your family been? How's life been? Work, school, activities, whatever the case may be. Just talk to me. How you been doing so far? Is everything going all right? Is everything going okay? Are you guys know what I'm about to ask. Are you guys taking care of your mental, physical, and your spiritual health? Are you guys taking care of these things? Again, are you taking care of your mental, physical, and spiritual health? Because again, these things are oh so important to you, and they should be oh so important to you as they are to me, because nobody is going to look out for these things as much as you are, or as much as you should, right? So are you doing the best that you can to manage your mental, physical, and your spiritual health? Because again, these things are and should be important to you, because you don't want to end up crashing out. You don't want to end up burning out. And you don't want to end up overwhelming yourself, because we already deal with a lot of problems, issues, and stress throughout our daily lives. And these are things that you do not want to neglect. You don't want to neglect these things, right? So what are the solutions that I would like to offer you in order to manage these things? Well, number one, the one and best and most critical or crucial solution that I can offer you is to always go to God in prayer. Always go to God in prayer. Talk to God. Ask Him for His help. Ask Him for His assistance, and He will always come through for you every single time. At least that's how it is for me. That's definitely how it is for me. Excuse me. And I know it can be the same way for you too, right? But you have to go to God in prayer. You have to realize that you cannot do it on your own, and you cannot do it by yourself. So consider going to God in prayer, talking to Him before anything else. Before anything else, go to God in prayer and talk to Him, right? But that's the first solution. The second solution that I can offer is, for some people, it could be working out, right? Going to the gym. Others, it could be to meditate, right? Others, it can be yoga. For other people, it could be cooking. Some people like to cook to manage their stress, their anxiety, their physical, mental, spiritual health, right? Some people can cook, to manage those things. Some people can read a book, right? Take a walk around the neighborhood, right? These are solutions that one can take to, manage these things. Another solution that I also like to recommend is also speaking to somebody that you can trust. Now, there may not always be going to therapy, but it could always be, speaking to a loved one, right? A friend. But it has to be somebody that you trust. It doesn't necessarily need to be just anybody, right? Or you don't have to go to just anybody to talk about your situations, right? But you have to make sure that it is somebody that you trust, who will not be going out and broadcasting your business or broadcasting your issues out to the world. Make sure it's somebody that you trust and somebody that you can confide in and speak to about your mental, physical, and spiritual health, all right? So please, please, please take these solutions and take these considerations to heart, right? And implement them in your life and do the best you can. Again, this is you. This is your life. This is your body. So manage these things as much as possible to the best of your ability, okay? Now, again, back to what I was referring to before. Ladies and gentlemen, the playoffs are here. Man, I'm excited. Look. All right, so again, like I told you before, the playoff brackets are set. So here are going to be your matchups for the playoffs. Now, for the playoff games, there's 7 games in total, okay? There are 7 games in total for each and every single matchup with each and every single team. Now, of course, you all know the drill. The team that has the most wins are obviously the teams that advance into the series, into the playoff series, and whoever is left standing between both the East and the West will be the 2 teams that will end up in this year's finals to see who will come out on top and win this year's NBA Finals championship trophy. Now, allow me to give the names of each teams that will be going up against each other for this year's NBA playoffs, okay? So for the West, we have the Oklahoma City Thunders, who will be taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, who just defeated Dallas Mavericks last night in the play-in tournament to secure their spot for this year's NBA playoffs. So the OKC will be going up against the Memphis Grizzlies. The Denver Nuggets will be facing off against the Los Angeles Lakers. And then we have the Los Angeles Lakers, who will be going off against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then finally, we have the Houston Rockets, who will be facing off my team, the Golden State Warriors, for the Western Conference of the NBA playoffs. So these are your teams for the West, right? And now for the East, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, who will be going up against the Miami Heat, who just recently defeated the Atlanta Hawks last night, which then helped them secure their spot for this year's NBA playoffs. So the Cleveland Cavaliers will be going up against the Miami Heat. Then we have the Indiana Pacers, who will be facing off against the Milwaukee Bucks. And then we have the New York Knicks, who will be taking on, surprisingly, the Detroit Pistons, which is my first time ever seeing him in the playoffs for a long time. Again, that's just me. But again, the Knicks will be going up against the Detroit Pistons. And then finally, we have the Boston Celtics, who will be taking on the Orlando Magic, which they recently defeated the Atlanta Hawks in the previous play-in tournament as well. So this is your matchup for the East. So again, the playoffs are set, and this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be a 7-game series for each team. And again, of course, the team that comes out with the most wins will be the ones advancing deeper into the playoffs. And then ultimately we'll be leaving off with one team from both sides of the East and West facing off against each other in the NBA Finals. All right, so that's what it's looking like so far. Again, I'm calling it right now. I just had a talk with Fred John, who's sitting in the other room. I had a talk with him, I believe it was last Saturday. I'm calling it right now, people. The Golden State Warriors will advance to the finals. I'm calling it right now. I'm optimistic about it, but I do not care. I do not care. The Warriors will come out. Maybe okay. Let me be a little bit more realistic with this, right? Maybe, just maybe, they won't make it all the way to winning the finals. But I would say this: they're making it into at least the third round of the playoff. I'm gonna be a little bit more optimistic here. We have Jimmy Butler, right? We have Curry. We have Jimmy Butler. I'm a little worried about what Draymond Green and Buddy Hield are doing, but I hope they can get their head in the game for this year's playoff, right? But Jimmy Butler has been doing wonders for us. And I'm not going to lie, I had doubts. I had doubts about Jimmy Butler being a little bit of a, how can I say this, a little bit of a crutch for the Warriors. But I was wrong. I will admit it. I was definitely wrong about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has been doing wonders for us, okay? Jimmy Butler has been performing for the Warriors. And so that's why I can feel confident in saying that we will at least advance into the third rounds of the playoff. At least the third rounds of the playoff. But that's just me. But again, I'm excited. I'm so excited for this year's NBA playoffs and finals. But please, for all of you that are watching, at least let me know in the comments on either YouTube or Facebook. And please let me know, who do you think will be this year's NBA Finals champion? You tell me. You let me know, because I'm curious. I'm curious to know as to what you think, or to who you think will be this year's NBA Finals. Again, I'm calling it right now. And again, I'm being optimistic here, but I'm calling the Warriors. I'm calling the Warriors. Curry's about to get his, what, fifth ring? I don't know. It's so many rings that this guy has. But I'm calling it this year that the Warriors are taking it for this year's NBA Finals championship. A lot of y'all might think I'm crazy. I'll take it. It is what it is. But that's what it's looking like so far. But I wanna go back into talking about, the play-in tournament between the Grizzlies and the Dallas Mavericks, right? Because the Mavs just got eliminated by the Grizzlies, which helped the Grizzlies advance to the playoffs. But I want to talk about Anthony Davis's performance, right? Which is why I feel so bad. I brought this up before, but I'll bring it up again. I feel so bad for all the Mavs fans out there, for all of them, because make no mistake, I do think with my whole heart of hearts that Anthony Davis is a good player. He's a talented player at that, right? But to think that a decision would be made to trade one of your greatest players in Luka Doncic to the Lakers in order to receive Anthony Davis and Maxi Christie was a horrendous decision on the GM's part, in my opinion. Granted, Anthony Davis did his best, his utmost best, to perform for the Mavs, to help them at least advance to the playoffs, which ultimately they end up failing in doing so. But I'm not going to lie, Anthony Davis left it all on the court. He left his heart all on the court. His efforts, his blood, sweat, tears, he left it all on the court. Last night, after losing to the Memphis Grizzlies, Anthony Davis dropped in a total of 40 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists in last night's game, which ended up in them ultimately losing to the Memphis Grizzlies. He played his heart out for the final season for the Mavs to end their season for 2024. He played their heart out, dropping 40 points, and still ended up losing anyways. Now, I have to give my respects to Anthony Davis because, he did everything that he could, dropping 40 points, because 40 points is crazy, right? 40 points is a crazy amount of points putting up for a team, which still ended up in them ultimately losing and being out for the rest of the season. But, again, you got to give the man his props. You got to give the man his flowers. But everybody could have seen this coming from a mile away, right? Everybody could have seen this coming from a mile away. Anthony Davis was not going to be enough to help this team. Anthony Davis just wasn't going to be enough to help this team advance into the playoffs, let alone the finals. It just wasn't going to happen. But, again, he did his best. He did what he could. He played his heart out. And that's where he left it for the season for the Dallas Mavericks. So again, I do feel bad for all the Mavs fans that might be watching right now, or maybe not right now, but some other time. I do sympathize with you because now your greatest player is now playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, and they have secured their spot in the playoffs, and they will be going up against the Timberwolves for this year's NBA playoffs. So I feel bad for you guys, but yeah, I'll be praying for you. I'll be praying for all the Mavs fans out there. Don't be mad. what can I say? Be glad. I don't know. It is what it is. But that's that for the playing tournaments for the Memphis Grizzlies and the Dallas Mavericks. And then for the East, we had the Miami Heat, who went up against the Atlanta Hawks, right? And the Heat ended up defeating the Atlanta Hawks last night for their playing tournament, which also helped the Miami Heat advance into the playoff round. So the Atlanta Hawks season is over, and the Dallas Mavericks season is over, and now we all have the playoffs left to watch. I'm gonna be tuning in for each and every single game, right? Each and every single game that will be taking place tonight, I will be tuning in for them, or for the playoffs in general. I'm tuning in for each and every single one because this is where the season is most exciting, because everybody has something on the line. There's something on the line here, right? For each and every single team that is in the playoffs, they have a championship that is on the line. And so each and every single team, you would hope or expect to come in with their A game and to come in with the best efforts that they can possibly come in with to help them secure a spot in the finals, and then to ultimately win the finals and to win this year's NBA Finals trophy, all right? So, again, I'm excited. I hope you all are excited too, and that's what it's looking like so far for the NBA playoffs. And so tonight's matchup, again, because the playoffs is going to be starting tonight, tonight's matchup is going to be the Indiana Pacers, who will be going up against the Milwaukee Bucks at exactly 1 o'clock p.m. And then we have the Los Angeles Clippers, who will be facing off against the Denver Nuggets at 3:30 p.m. And then we have the Detroit Pistons, who will be taking on the New York Knicks at 6 p.m. And then finally, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves, who will be taking on the Los Angeles Lakers tonight at 8:30 p.m. So tonight will be the night where the playoff series begins. So again, please let me know who you guys think will win this year's NBA Finals championship run. And yeah, that's what it's looking like so far for the playoffs. And I wanted to give you a little bit of an update for all of our soccer matches as well. We have a full slate here. A full slate for our soccer matches that will be taking on for the MLS. The MLS for each and every single team that will be facing off against one another, right? And so we have the Austin FC, who will be taking on the LA Galaxy. We have the Columbus Crew, who will be going up against Inter Miami. We have CF Montreal, who will be taking on Orlando City. We have Charlotte FC, who will be taking on San Diego FC. We have New England Revolution, who will be taking on New York City FC. We have New York Red Bulls, who will be taking on DC United. And then we have the Philadelphia Union, who will be taking on the Atlanta United. We have the Seattle Sounders, who will be taking on Nashville. We have Chicago Fire, who will be taking on FC Cincinnati. Excuse me. Then we have the Houston Dynamo, who will be taking on Colorado Rapids. Then Minnesota United, who will be facing off against FC Dallas. St. Louis City, who will be taking on Vancouver Whitecaps. Real Salt Lake, who will be taking on Toronto FC. Portland Timbers, who will be facing off against the LAFC. And then finally, we have the San Jose Earthquakes, who will be taking on Sporting Kansas City. This is, again, a full slate of matches. A full slate of matches for soccer. So I may or may not be tuning into Inter Miami going up against Columbus Crew, because I'm always excited to see Lionel Messi play. I'm always excited to see what he is going to do for his respective team and how far he will take them, all right? But that just seems to be what it's looking like so far for soccer. And as per usual, I would like to leave off with a verse of the day. Excuse me. Right, so I would like to leave off with a verse of the day. And the verse that I have for you will be coming from Romans chapter 10, verses 9. Again, the verse that we have for you today will be coming from Romans chapter 10, verses 9. And it reads, verset map liyan c'est Romains chapitre 10 verset 9. Romans chapitre 10 verset 9. And it reads, if you declare with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Please allow me to read that for you one more time. And it reads, if you declare with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. This is pretty self-explanatory in noting that all it takes is for you to just believe, right? Believe that Jesus Christ is Lord. Believe that he has risen from the dead, because this is all pertaining into Easter, right? If you simply believe that Jesus is Lord, and if you believe that he has been risen from the dead, then you will be saved. It couldn't be any more simple than that, right? It couldn't be any more simple than that. A lot of people believe in a lot of things, and a lot of people don't believe in a lot of things, right? But we have to understand and realize that our good works, right, our charity, our good deeds, us being a good Samaritan, right, and all that, none of these things are what's going to save you, right? Because at the end of the day, it's stated in the Bible, and it's always been stated in the Bible, for the wages of sin is death, okay? The wages of our sin is death, right? And so because we sinned, all of us are sure to die. But, right? If we accept Jesus Christ in our lives, and if we believe that Jesus Christ is Lord, and if we believe that he has risen from the dead, right? Then, at that point, we will be saved, right? Because we acknowledge who God is. We acknowledge who Jesus is. We acknowledge what he has done, what he is capable of doing, and what he will do. That's very important. We've acknowledged who he is, what he has done, what he's capable of doing, and what he will do. So once we've already acknowledged these things, then we are sure to realize, especially deeper into our relationship and our, our bond with God, we are sure to believe and to understand that we are saved through Christ and through Christ alone. Again, it's not based off of your work, what you've done, all the good that you do. It's not based off of none of that, but simply you believing. Depuis ou kwe, bon Dieu, depuis ou kwe, Jésus c'est bon Dieu, et puis depuis ou kwe, li mouri sous calvaire pour nous, et puis comment on dit ça? Depuis ou kwe, bon Dieu mouri pour nous, et puis li bay la vie, li bay la vie parle pour nous ka sauver, c'est là ça ka sauver. C'est pas dans tout ça ou fait qui bon, ou bien c'est pas dans ça ou fait pour l'autre monde, ou bien c'est pas gens ou vivre la vie, mais c'est depuis ou quoi Ça c'est plus important. Depuis ou quoi, dans qui est bon Dieu et puis dans qui ça le fait, c'est dans laissa ou sauver et puis c'est dans laissa on commencer à connaître qui est bon Dieu. Mais ça dépend de si ou quoi. Si ou pas quoi dans ça bon Dieu, dans qui est bon Dieu, dans qui est bon Dieu ou bien si ou pas quoi dans qui ça le fait, c'est dans laissa ou pas sauver parce que ou pas quoi dans lui. Et puis il y a un pile monde qui pas connaît bon Dieu, il y a un pile monde qui pas connaît bon Dieu et il y a un pile monde qui pas vle connaît bon Dieu. Right? Mais depuis ou quoi et puis depuis ou accepter Jésus dans la vie ou quoi dans qui est lié, c'est dans laissa ou pas sauver, OK? So encore verset c'est Romains chapitre 10 verset 9. Again, the verse is Romans chapter 10 verses 9. Whenever you get the chance, please read it. Please learn it. Please meditate on it. Please harp on it. Share it. Do whatever you will with it, but the verse is yours to learn. Again, I love you guys. The time is 11:01. The time is up. I love you guys. And as always, I will be back here again at the same time as per usual, 10:30 for your convenience. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next Saturday. I love you guys. Bye. Peace.